future. Ito ang tambalang isip at mainadyo. The machine. Nagsimula sa isang ideya, isang tanong, paano kung may katulong ka? Brain and metal, hand in hand, tayo lilipad, no limit sa land. Sabay tayong gagalaw, kayo at makina'y magtatagumpay. Boses ng isip, lakas ng AI, sama-sama we will touch the sky. Kayo and the machine, tara let's build a dream. Tagalog in English, walang limit, isip, puso, makina, solid. Kayo and the machine, dito walang it's just a meme. Ideas na extreme, welcome to the future. Kayo an M machine, kausap mo'y di lang tao, may tech na rin na di patalo. Analysis to innovation, sama ka sa evolution. Sabay tayong gagalaw, kayo at makina'y magtatagumpay. Boses ng isip, lakas ng AI, sama-sama we will touch the sky. Kayo and the machine, tara let's build a dream. Tagalog in English, walang limit, isip, puso, makina, solid. Kayo and the machine, dito walang it's just a meme. Ideas na extreme, welcome to the future. And the machine.
Quotes sa dugo, thoughts sa flow, breaking barriers, let's go, go, go. Mind ng tao, speed ng machine, limitless hustle para sa dream. Future's here, kami ang daan, knowledge is power, walang iwanan. Kayo and the machine, bagong kilusan. Brain meets tech, that's the plan.
Kayo and the machine, tara let's build a dream. Tagalog in English, walang limit, isip, puso, makina, solid. Kayo and the machine, dito walang it's just a meme. Ideas na extreme, welcome to the future. Kayo, brain, heart, and tech.
Kayo and the machine, level up tayo dito. Pray you and the machine, level up tayo dito.
Yo! Shoutout ulit. Shoutout. Shoutout CNN, Pablo Rakim, Paris Me, Albert Solano, Aunt May, Eccentric, Dami Ebas, Lawrence, Jonalyn, Kaniguan Man, No Nonsense, Noah, Vito, Corazon Co, Rianel, Teach Me Boss, Cerberus Knight, Zitrock, Doon na lang, Jerry, Kong Jenny, iCheck, Noxy, Che, DJP, Sapphire, Brutal Canton, Jom Amor, Mylene, Sharumain, Kuya Jess, Una Ka Na, Michael, Lele, Carolace, Jonathan, Mark Carlson, Dami Ebas, Nightbot, MGN, Teacher Mark, Senior Pepe, Angry Middle Age Man, Sabaw, you know. Oh, shoutout sa inyong lahat. O ito, si Darsha Damlay nagko-comment niya dito sa nagka-chat, diba? So ito. Ito, 8 minutes ago lang itong isa. Ito muna yung address natin. Sabi niya, in-address niya yung hypothetical ko na 12 senators plane crash deads. Okay? Tingnan mo yung appreciation niya. Tingnan niyo kung anong problema dito. Sabi niya, I just have to share my thoughts on the twisted plane incident. Okay? In my view, this drastically reduces the chances of acquittal. Really? Okay, let's see. Or making it almost impossible. If half of the senators died, they would all lose their membership in the Senate. automatically resetting the quorum to just 7 members. As mentioned, they were attending a birthday party in Davao, suggests that they were likely VP Sara's allies, leaving behind a Senate composition that could strongly lean toward a guilty verdict. What's wrong with it? I think na biktima ka ng confirmation bias, dude. Ulitin natin ha. Ulitin natin. Ito, dito tayo. As mentioned, that they were attending a birthday party in Davao suggests they were likely VP Sara's allies, leaving behind a Senate composition that could strongly lean toward a guilty verdict. Okay, first of all, that's not the point. Okay? But okay, let's tackle that. Okay? Let's tackle that for the sake of argument. Bakit mo inassume na anti-VP yung natira? Not only that, sabihin natin ganito, iniba na niya yung premise. Hindi, lagpasan na natin muna yung iniba niya nga. Puntahan lang natin yung argumento niya mismo. Hindi mo ba nakikita, this is a self-referentially incoherent statement? Why? You just said, 12 members are likely VP Sara's allies. O edi acquitted na siya kung buhay yung mga yan. Ulitin natin. Hindi ba self-incoherent statement, self-referentially incoherent statement yung sinabi mo? Kasi ang sabi mo dito, yung 12 likely VP Sara's allies. Meaning, kapag nag-vote, panalo agad si Sara Duterte, right? Now, let's go to the pragmatic side of things. Ngayon, what is the motive? So sabi mo impossible na ma-acquit. Why? Because this will drastically lead to sinasabi mong conviction na lead to conviction, right? Here's the problem. Unang-una, I wasn't trying to draw a line of like hindi ako nagde-derive ng malice or intentional plane crash doon. Sabi ko, it just happened. Pero ikaw yung naglagay ng kulay. Okay, lagyan natin ng kulay. Sa sarili mong argumento, bakit magiging ang motive nun is against Sara Duterte kung VP Sara's allies yung 12? Sige nga. Hindi ba self-referentially incoherent statement yung sinabi mo dito? Kasi kapag nagkaroon ng botohan, panalo agad si VP Sara. So ngayon, what is the point of killing them? Hindi siguro alam niya. Alam niya. 8 minutes ago lang to inedit pa nga So gusto ko lang ipakita sa kanya na actually, I think biktima ka ng confirmation bias here. Why? Ikaw na nagsabi. Likely VP Sara's allies. Pumunta pa ka mo, parang may birthday pa yan nung una parang birthday Hindi ko sinabing birthday pero ikaw yung naglagay ng context sa birthday Inedit mo siguro. Sabi natin birthday nga. So allies. Okay, fine. So kung 12 na yung mga yon, hindi mo panalo na si VP Sara. So bakit pa kailangan patayin? See, you are trying to paint a picture that is not there. Because it is nonsense to do that. Kasi dapat addition at subtraction, they need to convert the votes, not to reduce the votes. So, tamo either way, walang motive to do that. Okay? Walang motive to do that. Forthwith nga as per alamat. Kasi sabi mo, Gul, magkape ka mga muna, ang layo mo. Forthwith na naman sinasabi mo dyan. Judgment na nga to Nangyari na nga. Ang context dito nangyari na, judgment na tanga. Kung pa tanga-tanga. Lahat pabor kay Sara, correct. So bakit mo kailangan lagyan ng kulay? Hindi ko kasalanan na nilagyan mo ng kulay. I never painted that picture. You did. Pero kahit pa sabihin natin, sige, let's grant your argument. Sabihin natin yan yung context. Pero how does it follow na mapupunta ngayon sa guilty verdict yan? Sabihin natin lahat ng natira is guilty. Okay. Sabihin natin yung 12. Guilty verdict. Lahat. Yung natira. Kasi yung gusto mong i-point out, right? Okay, lahat na yung guilty verdict. Okay, kung guilty verdict yon, can they actually convict Sara? They cannot. And that's the point of that hypothetical. They cannot convict with 12. Yun nga yung point nun eh. Kahit pa yung kalaban ng gumawa niyan, hindi yan pabor sa kanila. Kung si Sara naman ang gagawa niyan, hindi rin pabor sa kanya kasi 12 na nga yung panalo niya. So bakit mo kailangan lagyan ng kulay? It's just your imagination that doesn't make any sense. Kasi ang buong point lang doon sa 12 na plane crash is that 12 cannot convict. Kung sasabihin mo ngayon, this will lead to conviction, it cannot. Why? Because only 12. Yun nga yung buong point. I think you missed that point. Hindi ba pinopoint out ko nga doon sa is 12-12? You can continue the verdict if you want. Lahat sila is guilty. Okay, fine, pero they cannot convict. That's the very point of that hypothetical. Either way, it's futile. Exactly. Ba't mo kailangan lagyan ng kulay? Hindi mo kailangan lagyan ng kulay. Hindi mo kailangan mag-multiply ng entities out of necessity, unnecessarily. Matibay ang Eves convict Sara Lustay. Bobo. Ang layo itong bobon to. Galing ka sa sa mga, yung katulad nung isa si, ano pangalan nun? Yung kabobohan di marunong sa logic. Kumbaga sa Posoy, kahit anong way yan, panalo Sara, iwas na lang Posoy yung prosecution. Huwag lang syempre mapaw si Sara. Correct. Convict, patahimikin nyo nga mo ng 24 hours yung bobong yan. Ang layo. Hagulgol lang dyan sa Gedli. Di ba? Patahimikin nyo nga 24 hours yan. O ngayon, debunk na to. Dahil sa damn lies. Kasi gusto mong lagyan ng kulay na wala doon. Ikaw lang naglagay ng kulay na yan. Pero either way, walang panalo dyan. Walang motive to be established kung bakit namatay yung 12. Kasi nga, ang point ko lang naman doon ay hindi ko sinasabing pinatay. Ang sinasabi ko lang is namatay. Ikaw lang yung naglagay ng kulay. Walang motive na kasama doon. Kasi wala ka ma-establish na motive doon. Kahit si Sara pa yung nagplano nun, it doesn't make any sense. Dahil, kung hindi namatay yun, si Sara yung makikinabang. Kapag pinatay naman sila, hindi rin makikinabang yung kabilang side. Kahit pa lahat silang 12 ay actually for conviction. Dahil they cannot convict with 12. Nagets nyo? So, yung sinasabi mo dahil sa damn lies, it's absurdity. Hindi naman kasi kailangan lagyan ng kulay yun, pero nilagyan mo ng kulay. So, yun pa lang, tapos na tayo. Okay, next. Ito na. Oh. Ito. Sabi niya kasi, I got a different opinion regarding this matter. Ayun ang unang-una niya. If it can indeed cross over on the 20th Congress, then it is logical that there would be a complete set of 24. Okay? Sabi niya ha, nothing to gain, nothing to lose. Parang ganun kayo. Yeah! There's no motive there. Hindi pala pwede mag-trial ang Senate between July 14. Yan, sinabi mo na kaya kanina. Lahat ng out of topic, patatahimik ha. Lahat ng out of topic, patatahimikin ng 24 hours. Ako po, meron pa din, hindi makakaintindi kaya. Ulitin natin ha, ito na. If it can indeed cross over on the 20th Congress, unang-una implied na dito na crossover. Okay? Kasi kung hindi crossover pala pinag-uusapan natin, you're assuming na crossover, hindi wala tayong pinag-uusapan. Okay? Kasi ang main topic dito is crossing over. Kapag sinabi mo sa akin, nilusot mo sa akin na, hindi ko naman sinabing it will cross over, then ano pinag-uusapan natin? Okay? then it's logical that there would be a complete set of 24. Yan yung kino-question ko. 24 senators to judge. Then it's not true that there would only be 12 judges to convict. If the argument is about the 2/3 votes, regarding if 2/3 will convict is a different matter. Because there might be like once Kimbo who turned her back on VP. But Kimbo? Hindi naman kasama si Kimbo dyan. I don't think you're understanding the point, dude. Well, although since I'm likes of Kimbo who turned her back on VP Sara, that is fine. That's not the very point of my argument. Ito yung una kong reply, oh. If this is what you think, then it's logical, ito na hinighlight ko na mismo ha, ito. Then it is logical that there would be a complete set of 24 senators to judge. Then it's not true there would only be 12 judges to convict. Okay? Then you didn't understand the argument. Kasi ito yung inaano mo eh, it is logical. No, it's not. Maybe it's common sense. Maybe it's intuitive for you. Maybe. But you cannot say it is logical. Yun yung buong point ko. Okay? Ulitin natin ha. Ito yung hinighlight ko. Specific yung reply ko dito. Okay? Specific. Ayan nga, tinag ko na nga. Ayan oh. Tinag ko na nga, di ba? Ang gulo, bakit kasabi? Hindi, gusto niya likes of Kimbo. Na hindi ko alam kung bakit niya ginagamit si Kimbo. Who cares? Si Waitin David ba yan? Hindi. Ano to talaga dito? Follower ko to talaga. Then it's logical that there would be a complete set of 24 senators to judge. Kasi nag-crossover na sa paningin mo, right? Okay. I can also assert na logical na 17 lang matitira judges dahil sa 5 re-electionist. Toto. Sabihin niya mamaya. Then it's not true that there would only be 12 judges to convict. Okay? Okay, sabi ko, then you didn't understand the argument. It is not logical. What you said is common sense but not logical. Here's a more logical one. Nagbigay ako ngayon ng senaryo. Suppose, all the senators, 12, got replaced by new ones. Ayan na nga, oh. Nilagay ko sa prior ko. New ones, meaning hindi yung old. Walang old. As in wala. Talaga may total divide. Yun yung buong point niyang thought experiment na yan. Okay. Suppose, all senators got replaced by new ones. Got replaced by new ones. Okay? And the judgment day should be on July 1. But the old senators will be replaced on June 30. How will they judge? That's logical question. That's a logical question for you since you missed the point. Because that's the very point. Ulitin natin ha. Unang comment ko sa'yo. Suppose all the senators, 12, got replaced by new ones. So walang overlap. Yun yung point ko ha. Okay. And the judgment day should be on July 1. But the old senators will be replaced on June 30. How will they judge? That's a logical question for you. Kaya nga ginamit ko yung plane crash as analogy. Okay? Since you missed the point. Ito, sabi niya, that's hypothetical. Well, news flash, dude. The whole idea of justified true belief about epistemology was destroyed by a thought experiment. A Gettier case single-handedly destroyed the justified true belief account of knowledge. Newsflash. Hypotheticals are very important. Counter examples are very important. It's called thought experiment. a thought experiment can actually destroy a whole project. Again, eto yung get your case. This is just a hypothetical. Okay? Ang sabi, a true account of knowledge is you have the belief, you know it, you have the evidence, then it's true. Right? It is knowledge. Ito yung get your case. Ang get your case, hypothetically. Let's say this. Kung sabihin natin na tumawag ka sa akin, nag-uusap tayo sa telepono, you ask me, anong oras na? Tumingin ngayon ako sa orasan. Sabi ko, bro, 3:00 na ng hapon. O sabi natin 3:00 na, huwag ng hapon. Basta 3:00 na. Ngayon, sabi niya, salamat. Di tapos na tayo mag-usap. Ngayon, napansin ko, yung relo pala, sira o walang battery. So ngayon, sinabi ko 3:00. Ang problema, 3:00 na nga talaga. So ngayon, ang question, is that justified? Because again, the account of knowledge sa justified true belief is belief mo and knowledge. You know it. You know it. Kaso ang problema, sira pala yung relo. That's a thought experiment that actually destroyed the whole project of justified true belief in epistemology. Don't tell me na that's hypothetical. Because hypotheticals destroyed a lot of things. Even laws. It is highly improbable. It doesn't matter for... Kaya ka nga merong ang get your case kasi it's highly improbable. That's not the point. Kung alam mo yung modal logic, alam mo yung necessarily true, tsaka possibly true. Kung aral ka sa modal logic, alam mo yon. Iba yung possibility, tsaka yung necessary. Honest mistake pero disqualified na. Exactly. That whole thought experiment, it actually destroyed the whole argument about justified true belief. Yeah. The fact that it is possible, tapos na. Exactly. Possibility lang ang kailangan mo dyan. We're done. Sabi nga ni Peirce, pragmatism ulit tayo. Sabi niya, philosophy should be done as scientific method as well. Dinistinguish niya yung science, scientific method, science, as philosophy, and special science as yung mga natural science. Okay? Ito yung sinabi niya. Ito, makinig kayo mabuti. Sabi niya ito, actually, kino-consider niya yung philosophy, gusto niyang baguhin the way we think about philosophy. Na philosophy should be scientific as well. Scientific method din. The only difference is, sa special science, you need special equipment. Right? But, dito sa philosophy, this is your equipment. So, sabi niya, kung pag-uusapan natin scientific method, you falsify things sa special science as empirical, right? But, in philosophy, you use thought experiment. Thought experiment. Kasi di ba sa special science, you do the experiment to falsify it. Okay? Dito naman sa philosophy is thought experiment. Rational experiments. Scientific experiments sa special science. And dito sa philosophy is thought experiment. So don't even try to downplay these thought experiments because these thought experiments destroyed a lot of things and knowledge in the world. Of course, if you don't know that, of course, you're not gonna take it seriously. Anyway, tuloy. Kayo halimbawa hindi matuloy o mapatay na yung impeachment, pwede bang mag-file uli ng impeachment sa 28th Congress? Hindi. Kailangan ng 1 year, di ba? If the current Congress know that they will be replaced today and there would be deliberation tomorrow, don't you think that they will deliberate on their last day? They will try. I'm sure of that. They will try. But, can they actually control it? Halimbawa, eto na naman, thought experiment. They really want to do it. But the problem is, may sakuna. Now what? Napakadali ng mga objections mo eh. Hindi mo nga maintindihan eh. Hindi mo maintindihan yung main argument. Gusto mong pumunta sa paligid na highly improbable yon, it doesn't matter. Einstein, Tesla, the greatest scientists in the world, they did thought experiment. Yeah, because they do it. They use that. Thought experiment is very powerful. Even do sa quantum physics, they do thought experiment. Now, but in this case, the senator judges might just have swear to oath and session. Tama. Ano pagkakaiba ng argument mo sa argument ko? Ang argument ko is I don't have to go anywhere. Just directly. Ang problema sa argument mo, kailangan mo mag-cook up ng scenario somehow sa paligid without addressing the main point. Parang kailangan mo pang explain na hindi pwede mangyari yan. No, sabihin natin nangyari, assume it is true. How do you solve it? What do you do? Physics especially. Dapat alam nila gamitin ng or and not pagdating sa philosophy. I mean, every word, punctuation matters. Special definition. In reality, the Senate would have 17 sworn judges by that time. Okay yan. So, inistroman mo na ako. Uulitin ko ha. Suppose all senators 12 got replaced by new ones. Inismagel mo ngayon yung 5. Because my reply to you is this. You distorted it. Kaya nga kailangan mo ng link kasi ang pinapagulo mo sarili mo is because of the reelectionist. But my argument was clear. Suppose all 12 senators got replaced by new ones. So no overlap. My dad is a physicist. He always say that imagination is the best experiment that human use. Exactly. Peirce was right. Ano na sinabi mo na ngayon? Wala na. Lang strongman ka na. Tuloy. Stand corrected on logical issue. Sabi ko, anong logical issue to? Akala ko, ginrant niya na to. Sinabi ko na, it might be common sense, but it's not logical. Okay? Akala ko, ginrant niya na yun. Akala ko, ginrant na ni Dam Lice yun. So, sabi ko, okay, I think we're done. Di ba? Ayan I thought we were done kasi, okay, ginrant mo na pala sa logical issue eh. Okay. Tapos, ang problema dito, ito, sabi ko, hypotheticals are used to demolish arguments. That's why philosophical notions are demolished by what we call thought experiment. Counter examples are used to demolish illogical inferences just like yours. Kaya ito na lang yung reply ko. Kasi ginrant niya na pala eh. Ito ha, ginrant mo na eh. Stand corrected on logical issue. Ako, okay. So, okay na. So, ito lang sinabi ko. Hypotheticals are used to demolish arguments. Pinaliwanag ko na lang. That's why philosophical notions are demolished by the what we call thought experiment. Counter examples are used to demolish illogical inferences just like what you did. Kasi granted yan eh. Okay? Sabi niya, kindly elaborate my illogical inferences. I'm confused. Ano pala to stand corrected on logical issue? It seems to me you're saying sorry for something that you don't know. Kaya sinabi ko yan dito sa baba. Sabi ko, so your apology on logical issue is not true? You conflated common sense and formal logic. You just put new senators in the same basket of the new ones who saw the evidence at the trial. You call that logical. It's not logical. It's common sense but not logical. That's why I gave you a scenario to show you that it's not logical but you relied on intuition. San ka pala nag-sorry? Kaala ko dun sa logical part. San part pala? Hindi mo rin yata alam kung saan ka nagsosorry. Tama ba ako? Kasi sabi ko dito, illogical inferences just like what you did. May false assumption nga. Sabi niya, kindly elaborate on illogical inferences. I'm confused. Saan ka pala nagsasorry? Sabi mo, saan yung stand corrected? O sabi niya dito, you can backread why I apologize. It's just above your reply. What? Nag-assume kasi nga. In short, isang malaking non-sequitur. Logical ba ang non-sequitur o hindi? Kaya nga nako-confuse ako eh. Parang, I thought we were done here because you already granted it sa mo stand corrected. Stand corrected on logical issue. But you did not state it. That's why I asked for it. Ano pala yon? Sabi niya, you can backread on why I apologize. No, I cannot. Kasi you just said, I stand corrected on the logical issue. Ano ba yung sinabi ko logical issue? Oh, ano ba yung sinabi ko logical issue? Then you didn't understand the argument. It's not logical. What you said is common sense. Di ba yun sinabi ko? Not logical, common sense. Yan yung ano ko. But not logical. So sinabi ko, it's not logical. Ito. Yan yung sabi ko, not logical. So nako-confuse ako. Saan ka pala stand corrected? Kasi ito yung main argument ko eh. Ito yung main point na sinita ko. Na it's not logical. It may be intuitive. It may be common sense. But it's not logical. And I gave you the reason kung bakit hindi siya logical. Oh. So your apology conflated common sense. Ito, you conflated common sense and formal logic. You just put new senators in the same basket of the new ones. Sabi niya, you can backread why I apologize. It's just above your reply. As I've said, my arguments were based on the available facts that only 12 senators judges is not possible. All of 24 judges will see evidence and the witness stand to present. Ang layo mo na eh. Hindi mo pa rin naiintindihan? You just granted, you stand corrected on the logical issue. But the problem is, you don't know asan ka stand corrected. Kasi when I ask you, you don't know. Parang, what? You keep arguing for it. What do you mean? Akala ko ba stand corrected ka na? Why are you still arguing for the same absurdity? That's why I ask you, saan ka ba nagsasorry? Na logical issue. O to, again, the 24 you were talking about are the old senators and not the new one. Backread mo yung counter-example sa hypotheticals na nilagay ko. Don't conflate the 12 incoming and the 12 retained. That's where your illogical inferences stem. It's a conflation. The old 12 and the new 12 are separate and distinct. Yan yung pinopoint out ko. So, saan pala yung stand corrected mo sinasabi? Parang, are you just saying it for the sake of saying it? Inulit ko again. The 24 you were talking about are the old senators and not the new one. Backread mo yung counter-example na hypothetical na nilagay ko. Don't conflate the 12 incoming and the 12 retained from the 19th Congress. That's where your illogical inferences stem. It's a conflation. The old 12 and the new 12 are separate and distinct. About the logical common sense issue, I stand corrected agad-agad. Again! So it's not logical nga, right? It's just common sense. You just granted it again. Don't know bakit kailangan pa ito. Kasi you keep arguing for it, dude. For some reason, you're apologizing for you stand corrected on the logical issue and yet you're still arguing for it. Yun nga yung buong point ko eh. You're still arguing for it. Akala ko okay na. Tapos, nagbago na. Given naman kasi yung mga variables ayaw pa intindihan. Ito again, the 24 talking about is in the 20th Congress. Yun nga yung point. Yung common sense ay hindi mabigat. There's literally a fallacy called argument from incredulity. Kaya nga, if the trial will indeed carry over on that Congress, all of them will see evidence and witness. So, ibig sabihin, dun mag-i-start, right? Okay, kung dun mag-i-start, if it started on the 20th Congress, then it's no longer carry over. Do you understand it? Example, the earth is flat, common sense, di ba? Know your semantics. Carry over implies it's been started already from the 19th Congress. As I said, you are conflating the two, which might be intuitive but it's not logical. O, eto. Punta na tayo dito. Evaluate this. Yan lang sinabi ko Nothing fancy. Sabi ko, evaluate this. And then, kinopy and paste ko yung usapan natin. Okay. Akala ko ba critical thinking? Kaya nga against common sense ako. Okay? Okay, step by step, summary, positions. Ito raw yung position mo. Claim, if the impeachment carries over into the 28th Congress, all senators of the 10th can serve as judges. You won't be stuck with only 12 votes. Okay? Yan daw. Implicit premise. Because 5 re-elected senators, re-electionists, are common to both the 19th and 20th Congress, there would effectively be at least 17 continuing senators who have already been seen the evidence. Therefore, there's no 2/3 faulty 12-judge scenario. A quorum exists and all eligible. Kasi mo tamo ang sabi mo dito, pakita ko lang din sa yung, yung contradiction mo. Ang sabi mo dito, again, the 24 I'm talking about is the 28th Congress, right? Okay. If the trial will indeed carry over on that Congress, all of them will see the evidence. So not only 17, it's 24 judges, right? Why restrict yourself to 17? It's the 28th Congress. Why do you have to argue na 17 lang? You just said 28th Congress. They will all see the evidence. So that's 24, not 17. Nakita mo yung contradiction mo? May inconsistency ka dito eh. Sabi mo 20th Congress. They all will see the evidence. So that's 24, not 17. Why 17? What I'm saying is the trial proper that would start on the 28th Congress. Trial proper would start on the 28th Congress. So that would be 24, not 17. Let's say, hypothetical ulit, let's say, dinala ngayon sa 20th Congress. Pinagbotohan nila, okay, tuloy natin. Ilan yung mag-judge? 24, hindi 17. That's an inconsistency side mo. Tuloy natin to. Yung carry over, 24 yon, hindi lang 17. Exactly. Pero it's not really a carry over na. To make any arguments about this issue, you will need to assert an axiom na hindi specifically expressed. Kaya nga discretion ng Senate yan, rules. Exactly. They voted for it. Let's continue. Di lahat na silang 24. Cayos response. First reply. Claim. Hasn't understood the logical argument. He's substituting common sense for formal logic. Counter example. Imagine the 12 senators, blah, blah, blah. A front point, the hypothetical shows why you can't assume all 24 in the 20th can vote just because they are seated. Ito. Rebuttal. Blah, blah, blah. Rebuttal na yan eh. Point-by-point logical evaluation. Okay. What Cayo says, formal logic, carry over means the same proceeding simply resumes. It doesn't reset. If you reset on July 1 under the 20th, you haven't carried over. You've just refiled under a brand new body. Okay. Implication, perfectly valid. Legal language generally treats continuation and new proceeding as distinct. Exactly. New proceeding tsaka continuation. Okay? But if the calendar says trial begins July 30 after oath taking, the same case is ongoing. How is that a continuation? Okay. He's mixing two different ideas. Deadlines for exercising rights, deadline to answer articles, versus the actual moment of commencement of trial. Okay? Verdict. Cayo is right that in strict legalese, starting on July 30 under a new Senate cohort is effectively a fresh proceeding, even if it factually the same set of articles of impeachment. Ikaw daw, Dodge the Dumb Lies, waiting, is relying on everyday parlance. We're just picking up where we left off. Exactly, yun yung gusto kong sabihin. Yun yung gusto kong sabihin. siguro common sense sa'yo na parang, well, yan, sige, pasok mo na yan sila. Kulang tayo judges eh. Di, pasok mo na yan sila. Sure! Sa common sense. Di ba? Sa common sense yun. Pero again, it's illogical. Why? Because there is no enabling rule sa kanila to actually do that. So there's no axiom for that. There's no mechanism to do that. Maybe it's common sense. Kaya nga sabi ko kung ikaw ba ay willing na husgahan ng isang judge based on common sense. Purely common sense. Are you willing to do that? Are you willing to stand trial pero ang standard is common sense? I think you would say, no, of course not. Then again, if that is the case, why do you think this is different? We're just picking up where we left off. But that glosses over the constitutional regimental hurdle, a new Congress, new Senate as a distinct body. Okay. by 12 judges witness quorum. Okay. Kay's hypothetical. All 12 remaining old senators exit at midnight June 30. July 1 arrives with 12 brand new senators who have never seen the evidence. Questions. Can they convict if they didn't witness opening statements? Does a 12-person bench meet the 2/3 of the threshold? No. Okay. Waiting's common sense reply. Of course, they'd finish it before midnight, or at least most re-elected ones remain. Remember, 5 re-elected. Actually, at least 17 of them carry over. Okay. Logic check. Kayo's scenario is strictly hypothetical, but that's the point of thought experiment. See, miski siya, alam niya eh. It isn't claiming that's the only realistic timeline, merely illustrating a boundary condition to show that if you insist on 24, you run into a scenario where no one can vote because none of them saw the evidence. That's the point of thought experiment. Okay. Waiting's just finished before midnight. Argument is a pragmatic, not formal rebuttal. He is saying they'd never let it go to midnight if they were truly serious. That's fair, but that doesn't refute Kayo's logical point. Exactly. Kayo isn't saying it will happen exactly at midnight. Kayo is saying if you assume carryover means you can magically step the must-have witness requirement, you are wrong. If you assume carryover means you can magically skip the must-have witness requirement, you're wrong. Okay. Regarding the 5 re-elected, this is simple. Just examine your presuppositions. If your presup is not necessary, then it doesn't follow. Assuming 5 re-elected senators are the only one who carries over, it will still blah, 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 plus 0, blah, 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 blah. Other words, if only re-elected saw the evidence, even if all 5 guilty, that's not enough. If the brand new senators somehow start watching as soon as they take oath, they still miss everything that already happened in the 19th due process. Ay, try yun, komedya pala yan, sorry. Verdict. Waiting's appeal to common sense. Again, you keep using the common sense thing. They'll just hold more closed sessions, get the new senators up to speed, etc. Is a political or procedural hack. Not a constitutional logical argument. Naintindihan mo ba? You keep using common sense as your standard. But that's my point nung simula pa lang. You are conflating common sense or intuitive sa logical. You don't do that. Appeal to They'll just hold more closed sessions, get the new senators up to speed, etc. Is a political or procedural hack, not a constitutional logical argument. Cayu's use of hypothetical was purely to demonstrate that assuming 24 can vote is logically inconsistent unless you address evidence witness rules. The hypothetical works for that purpose. Yun nga yung point nga eh. Re-elected. Oh, this is where again yan eh. Status quo, refresh, oath, verdict, procedurally, all re-elected senators do take new oaths once convenes. That's not a redundant formality. It's a constitutional requirement that marks, blah, blah, blah. Where their inferences fall apart, conflating common sense with formal logic. Just because everyone would just push to finish the trial before June 30 doesn't address the formal requirement that constitutionally or per Senate rules, only those who saw or were part of the impeachment process can vote. Logical exercise often force you into extreme but possible scenarios to test whether your premise is airtight. Dismissing a thought experiment as improbable, tama, you dismiss it as improbable, doesn't meet the challenge. You must show why the logical structure itself is valid under all possible timelines. Kasi sa model logic, may tinatawag na if it's possible in one world, then it is possible in the actual world. Meron naman na it is possible in one world and possible in all worlds. It necessarily follows that the actual world, it is true. Nagigets nyo? Oh. Misusing carryover. Oh, tutuloy pa ba tayo? If you accept carryover means the exact same trial, then you acknowledge that it started under the 19th. By definition, a carryover doesn't need a fresh Senate oath because you never ended the trial. But the Constitution says a new Congress begins on July 30 regardless. If you insist trial only starts in the 20th, then it's no longer carryover. That's what I've been telling you. Come on. I hope it is clear sa'yo, that's your damn lies. Stop using common sense and start using logical arguments. Yun lang. Galbis sa inyo lahat.
Yo, welcome to the future.
Ito ang tambalang isip at mainadyo. The machine nagsimula sa isang ide.